Alrighty, hello everybody. It is that time of the week again. It is race night, and I'm joined tonight by my friend Mr. Nick Hodgson. Nick, how are you?
Good evening, Sasson. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Monday night sim racing here at Sim Race SA. We are, of course, in the GP series, which is headlined this year by the wonderful Formula RSS 2002. So basically, the Formula One car from last year. And I think it's going to make for a fantastic race tonight. Really looking forward to it. We've got quite a few guys on track already, 13 guys. We're in practice, a couple of minutes left before we go into sort of a 15-minute qualifying and then a 60-minute race. So yeah, really looking forward to it. We are at a track that I believe is fictional. I don't think this is a real circuit anyway. But yeah, really looking forward to it.
I mean, speaking of a track that is real, let me maybe quickly go through some of the race info bits. Now I have to remember this track name. This track is PGO International Circuit. It is a fictional track. That's the nice thing about mods for Assetto Corsa. Modders can be very creative, and they can go look at a piece of landscape and envision their own tracks here. I looked very quickly at there's a geotag attached to this mod, and it was like right on the border of, I think it was Uzbekistan. So Middle Eastern, okay. You can see the Middle Eastern, the Middle Eastern theme is there in the background, and I'm always excited by these fictional tracks. There's Ottawa is one of those fictional tracks, which maybe includes a few really crazy corners, but it just shows what modders can do with it, and like just bringing some extra creativity to the table, to get us some extra tracks to race on. Because as great as the international tracks can be, I'm also a huge fan of modders like taking some advantage of the existing landscape.
Yeah, absolutely. Gives them a little bit of a license to experiment. And of course, as I said, we've got our 15-minute quali coming up, but the 60-minute race, remember, Sus, we've got a 40-minute pit window. Everybody has to pit at least once, but you only have to take 1 liter of fuel at a minimum. And the rest is then up to you. And with so many different tire options, of course, this being a Formula One car, you've got your sort of super softs, your mediums, your hards. There's going to be there should be a little bit of strategy to come into play here as well.
Yeah, and you're mentioning that. I've just switched to the weather forecast, so it's a nice and reasonable 22 to 24 degrees Celsius. But notice that the track condition here is a little dusty. So this track is starting with grip of 86%. It's going to take 30 laps of driving to increase that grip level by 1%. So each of the drivers are contributing laps as they go. So we should see grip ramp up very quickly, and then that will transfer over from one session to the other. So I'm actually really looking forward to how the drivers are going to get on tonight.
Definitely. I mean, only 9 drivers putting in valid lap times in the 15 minutes practice that they've had. We're in overtime now. And as we see, Emile de Villiers going first driver to jump into the 34s, 34.8. But times between Emile, Cornet, and Matthew very close there. So could see a good battle between them. Jeremy de Villiers slotting into 4th in practice, but remember, that's just in practice. There could be a lot more to come for sure, and I'm sure we're going to see that. But from what I've been watching, I've been doing a lot of onboards with people during practice just to get the sense of what we could be facing here tonight. And I'm finding it interesting that even though this track is very fast and flowing, a lot of the drivers seem, just from the onboards, to be struggling with understeer. I would have thought that you'd have maybe gone for a bit more of an oversteery type setup, given the fast-flowing nature of the circuit.
I'm wondering if this is maybe not more of a characteristic of the track evolution, rather.
It could be. Yeah.
So right now we are at like around about 88% grip, so it's still very, very slippery. And I do remember the drivers complaining a bit, with very slippery conditions, the car just oversteers an incredible amount.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have to we'll have to see how they go. Um Not too many laps done in practice, but we've got about a minute and a half before qualifying starts, and then of course we're going to see everybody out on the quickest tire. So being a Formula One car, it's rated in C's. So the C5 tire, I believe, is the quickest tire. You've got the C5, C4, C3, C2, and C1. Um, Interesting that Mohammed Dokrat seemed to have set his best time on the C2 tire, which is, of course, a very much harder compound than the C5s that Emil, Cornet, Mikhail, and Jeremy and Mark have been on as well. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how we go and how these cars follow. Of course, they're supposed to be what we're told from
Yeah.
Ross Brawn and co. that these cars are much easier to follow with.
Well, I mean, I think we can attest that there was a better following capability last year. So I
Yes.
just hope that translated well into sim as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to find that out very, very soon when we get to the race. But what are you thinking for qualifying, Sas?
For qualifying, I know that Emil is one of those drivers who kind of tends to just do really, really well consistently in qualifying. So I suspect Emil will take the top trumps there. What I am unsure about is whether we'll be able to get to a 100% track grip level by the end of the session. Because if we don't get to that level, it's gonna be a little bit of a like, who can start their lap the absolute latest to get in that fast lap time. So there is a little bit of jeopardy there, that if Emil isn't out on track, that might go and catch him out a bit.
Yeah, I mean he's left the pits immediately and is out on track. Both, I think, Emil and Cornet getting out very, very early. So, unlimited tires for the guys. They don't have to worry about sets of tires or anything like that. They can just go out and blast around as fast as they possibly can. Will be interesting to see if we get from 87%, as you say, to 100%. But also to see what these guys can do on a bit more of a slippery track, which of course by the race we are expecting, I would say, to start the race at 100%. And go from there.
I'm currently on board with Jeremy de Villiers, who is following Emil quite closely there.
It's interesting.
It's interesting to me that this circuit also seems to have multiple pits. So whoever was putting this track together seems to have taken it upon themselves to include some different layouts and like really go at it for adding that extra variability. I know for these F1 cars, you don't want the short layouts, and I think with like minute and a half lap times, that's already I'd consider that quite a short track already.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got a bit of a family affair here tonight, Sas, with of course Emil and Father Jeremy and Jude and Father John Stewart as well. So we've got two father-son combos going on, which is fantastic to see. That really is awesome to see. I know as a kid growing up, I would have loved to do some sim racing with my father. That would have been amazing. So I'm sure the kids are living their best lives right now.
I am definitely jealous, because I know that now that my dad is a little bit older, I've asked him to hop into my sim, and he had a ton of fun, but we're on two different levels. That level of adjustment to hopping into somewhere that you can't feel any G-forces, and you have to kind of get a good understanding of what 3D space means in the context of this 2D projection, because neither me or my dad can really do VR, because we both get a little car sick too easily.
Oh dear, that's definitely something you got to get used to. You can't just jump in and go. But these guys certainly are jumping in and going for qualifying. I'm just trying to have a look. I think we're going to have Cornet Breed across the line first to start his flying lap, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll keep an
No,
eye on that.
Cornet has already started his flying laps. He's a minute
There
and
we go.
12 seconds in, but he is currently on, looking like he's charging towards a 1 minute 33, maybe a 32, but there was a bit of a lock up there and he's lost some time.
Yeah, I'd expect these guys to just put a few bankers in to start with. I mean, the grip is currently 88%. You'll have to forgive us as we continuously give you updates on that, because it is going to be one of the big talking points for qualifying is what is the grip level, and are you going to be out at the very, very end? It's going to be one of those classic cases, as I see Cornet abandoning his lap, classic cases of being on the right tire at the right time on the right lap at the very, very dying moments of qualifying, I think.
Right, I'm currently online with Emil, who is around about 2/10 up on his delta, and it is climbing. He is coming down. I want to kind of use the national and international pit straights. Let me maybe go pull up that image that I put up recently for reference.
Big slide from Emil there.
Right, I have a cheat sheet for what the straights are, and there aren't any names. It's just turn numbers. So that I'm just calling it. I'm calling this the pit straight where we are racing from tonight the international pit straight, and I'll call the other pit straight the national pit straight. How's that for?
Sounds good. I'm on board, Sas. I'm on board. Emil really pushing hard this lap. Definitely going for it, without a doubt.
Looks like he's got
riding the curves quite hard.
He's grabbing the session based sector times right now.
Yeah, there we go. 3/10. Call that 3/10. I'll be kind. 3/10 quicker than his previous best. So he's 34.4. So already quicker than what we saw in in quali. In practice. I would imagine if we did get to 100% grip, the times could slip into the low 33s. What do you think, about a second's worth of track evolution at least?
I think that's not unreasonable. I did try and jump to Mr. Michael Matthews, but he's on a cooldown lap, it seems. Ooh, that is something that I actually didn't think about. You can't just gun every single lap. You'll have to make that choice. Do you stay on an out lap and try to do you stay out and try to recharge your battery, or do you jump to pits to reset that charge?
I've seen a lot of people just jumping straight to pits, to be honest, that's from what I've seen so far. So I think that is the prevailing strategy. I mean, Michael's only 4/10 off Emil at the moment. So yeah, definitely this quali battle is hotting up, and I can see a little bit of sliding coming in at the rear for both Emil and Michael as they try and get the most out of the car. So yeah, these guys are really going for it right now, and that's always fantastic to see. You definitely want to see that with the qualifying session. A good shootout. We've only got 8 minutes left, 8 minutes 30 seconds left as Emil goes across the line again, takes another 1.5 tenths off his personal best,
shaving it ever so.
Yeah, exactly.
Little bits at a time.
Going up. Yeah, and these guys, they're jumping straight back to pits immediately.
Ooh.
They literally cross the line, press a button, and teleport straight back. So, yeah, they must have worked out it's not worthwhile recharging batteries. Just go straight back to the pits.
Right, I'm on board with P6, Mr. Mark Hollenbach.
Oh, sorry, as Cornet Breed jumps up to second place now, so that's only 2/10 behind Emil there, maybe 3/10. 3/10, sorry.
I'm gonna stay with Mark for the time being. But Mark is actually one of our newer drivers. I'm trying to find some of his bio info. Coming in.
He's got some guys on outlaps in front of him. He's on an outlap himself, I think, or maybe not. He sails past Jeremy de Villiers, so I think he must be on a hot lap here. But he's 1.5 seconds off his personal best, so yeah, difficult to say at this stage. Maybe he just is trying to save the tires a little bit, charge the battery a little bit with the traffic.
Might be. He is 1.5 tenths up on his lap time though, so
Mohammed
he is improving
Yeah.
ever so slightly. His first sector was a tad slower. I think he lost 1.5 tenths there. So in balance, he will be improving, and that can push him ahead of Mr. Raymond Duggan.
I mean, that's pretty close at the moment. If you look between Jeremy de Villiers and Mark Hollenbach, that's, I mean, even all the way down to Mohammed Dokrat. That's quite a close fourth thing. Ooh, who's gone top? 33, Mikhail.
It's Matthews.
Yes, Mikhail Matthews, straight to the top. First man to break into the 33s with a 33.9. And Corne Britt now topping Emile de Villiers. So that's what we were saying. You got to be out on track at the right time. And we are currently at 89%. So not too much difference in Ryan de Azevedo. These guys are really finding a lot of speed suddenly.
That's track evolution for you, I think, yeah.
Yeah, we're not seeing it a huge amount in the percent, but it is making a massive difference to the times.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if it's also just that little bit of muscle memory adjustment that the drivers are going through.
True.
For the most part, they've been practicing on a well-rubbered track, so it's difficult to hop onto a very green track and quickly adjust to that. So they've had 15 minutes of practice, and maybe let me mention that quickly. We have tried to fit our races into a nice block of load shedding. A nice 2-hour block of load shedding. So everything is running from 8 p.m. until 10 p.m. And that's meant that we've had to really cut down on some of the like session times.
Yes.
And practice is one of them. Like our practice sessions used to be slightly longer, and we've been shrinking them down a bit. So there isn't that much to really use and get used to the initial track state. It's actually one of the things that I kind of wish we had in SimSpace, especially with the Zero Corsa Competizione, the idea of a bit of an installation lap. That moment between quali and race where all of the drivers can do out-in laps. I don't really know what to call them. You're not allowed to cross the finish line, but you can go drive out and back into the pits once or twice, just to get a feel for what the track is doing, so that it's not a complete mystery. I'm not trying to advocate for a full-blown let's get everything done, but that installation lap can be valuable in just getting your eye in and getting comfortable with weird new conditions in weather configurations where things are flipping about quite quickly.
Just having a flick through who's on laps and doing what. I see Jeremy de Villiers currently up on his delta. There's quite a few drivers that I've seen up on their delta by a reasonable amount, sort of 0.4 of a second. But it's so easy. It looks so easy on this track to throw it away by just putting a wheel half wrong and being not able to get on the throttle by a couple of tenths of a second, and it makes a huge difference to your delta. So. He says, I see Jeremy de Villiers going deep into that corner and losing some time there, but I think he will set his personal best. No, you see, he got a
bad exit out of there.
That lost him a couple of tenths. He'll still set his best time, but that got him, so he's now into the 34s, 34.9. So only certainly closing down on Emile, who is also up on his personal best at the moment. So is Mikhail, our current pace setter. Is 0.3 up on his best, but also making a couple of little mistakes here and there.
Right, I'm switching to Mikhail. He's close to finishing his lap, and then I'll switch back to Emile, and I think we'll be able to catch one last lap from another driver.
Yeah, he's good exit there. He'll knock 0.3 off, and there he goes. 33.599.
It's a big gap that Emile's going to have to cover now.
Yeah, and Cornet as well. Corne struggling at the start of his lap, not finding much pace there. Emile is on an absolute stonker, though. He should easily get into the 33s now, if he can keep this going. But whether or not he'll be able to challenge Mr. Matthews,
there was a little moment there, a little snap.
It was, yeah. But he's now 6/10. But you see that exit is so key. I think deploying some battery or something there to suddenly gain some delta.
This is also now coming down to a timing thing. Matthews still has time to go for an outlap and start a new hot lap. Emil does not. This is his final lap. This is his final lap. I don't see him.
Surely he can. How long is a? No, he can get out and do another lap. He'll be able to.
It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. So Emil jumps ahead.
He's going for it straight away.
Ooh, that's interesting. Right. I'm going to hop back to Cornet, who is still on his lap. Ooh, no, he is not on a great lap right now. He's on the bubble.
Emil provisional pole. Matthews challenging. Matthews on an out lap. Needs to hurry it up. Cornet Breed setting his personal best, 34 dead.
But it's still 5/10 adrift of Emil. Just hopping back to Mohammed Dokrat.
Cornet Breed is done.
Trying to see if he's going to go for a good lap. It's really interesting to see how people into turn 1 just go and gain a 10th of a second.
Absolutely. We've got in 10th position currently Heinrich Lube, who is absolutely dominating his delta right now. 7/10 up.
Ooh, and
gets a good run into the last corner.
It's close to the end of his lap. It's not going to be enough to push him into P9, but that's a good pat on the back. Big chunk of time that you've improved.
Big chunk of time. That's a properly good lap from him there. Emil's gone back to pits. He's done all he can do. It's now with 20 seconds left.
20 seconds to go. This is gonna be tight.
Is he gonna make the? Yeah, he should. Just get over the start finish line. Yeah, he'll get over the start finish line, and then let's see, can Mikhail make this the big one?
And I mean, surely this is the moment where he can leverage the extra track grip, because he's timed his outlap perfectly.
He's already a 10.5 up. I'll see what the track grip is. It's 90%. We have seen that make a big difference already, Sus. Just 1%. Great. Hitting the apexes very nicely at this stage. Ooh, a little bit of hesitation there on the throttle cost him a hundredth or two. And every tiny little bit is going to count now. Every little bit is going to count in overtime. On the brakes, hard. Turning in, don't lock the wheel. Get on the power as early as you possibly can. Not too much wheel spin. That's good. There we go. There's another 10th gained. That's another 10th gained. If he's going to deploy his battery, it's going to be very soon, I imagine.
This is just incredible. I actually wasn't expecting this last lap to be.
Oh no, he's messed
that's
that
a
up.
lot of curb to be riding over.
He's going to have to deploy any battery he has or anything at his disposal, because he's now only at 10. There we go. There's a little bit gained back there.
Nearing the end of the lap now.
Sliding hard there. Those tires are very tortured by this stage. Missing the apex slightly. It's cost him a little bit, but he's going to gain 3/10. I think this will take it, Sus.
This should take it.
There it is.
That takes
33.295.
I'm just hopping back to Mr. Mark Holland. He finishes his lap, and we're going to get ready.
And so does Raymond Duggan.
Raymond
Duggan just jumped up into 6th.
Superb showing. We'll go for a very quick ad break, and we'll hopefully be back by the time they bump to grid. Right, we're back. I do see that there's a little bit of a game issue, so apologies. Let me just double check my my speaker configuration is right. Okay, in that case, I'm going to quickly go back to an ad break and restart my game just to make sure everything is ready. Be right back. Okay, we're back. I'll keep an eye on the sound levels just now.
It's strange. It looks like Mikhail has disconnected. Sus.
Yes.
Our pole sitter is not there right now, but so that effect you'll see a slot on the grid there. You'll see a slot on the grid. We'll have to both remember to remove our cars. Grid as well.
My car should be removed from the grid. Right, lights are out. And now I don't have any game sound. Right. Lots of action happening.
Just rejoined.
Oh, man.
Mikhail's just rejoined, and Emil is away. Mikhail will have started, but he will have started right at the back of the grid here. So Emil has got a fantastic getaway. The mid-pack is battling tooth and nail, though. I can see, who is that? Raymond Duggan and Ryan Azevedo really going at it right now with Jeremy. No, Jeremy de Villiers has got away from, it's Mark, that's who it is. Mark Hollenbrecht and down the inside. Nice move there. Good move there, Mark. Well done.
You're gonna have to hold the fort a bit, Nick. I'm quickly trying to diagnose some issues here.
All good. Mark has now worked his way up into fourth. He's got Jude Stewart, who's into fifth. Jude Stewart is in fourth and doing extremely well, pressurizing Jeremy de Villiers, who's also had a fantastic start. But Jeremy gets it all wrong through the chicane, and that promotes Jude Stewart up into third position. Fantastic stuff from him. Marco Grasson and Heinrich Lube, I think, coming together there and swapping positions. But now we've got Jeremy de Villiers making another mistake, getting things all crossed up and falling back once again. And Mark Hollenbach is up into fourth position with Raymond Duggan now all over the back of Jeremy de Villiers, while he's got Mohammed Dokrat on the back of him as well. Oh, Raymond Duggan going in. I think Jeremy de Villiers is on a much, much, much harder compound of tire than Raymond Duggan is, and that would explain it. I think that's why Jeremy is going backwards so quickly. He just doesn't have the grip at this early stage. So we're going to see some strategy playing out here tonight, Sas, with the likes of Raymond Duggan on extremely soft tires. I think that is the C4, C5 compound. Oh, Raymond going off the track through the twisty sections, unable to follow Jeremy de Villiers, and that's allowed Mohammed Dokrat to really close up on Raymond Duggan, but he's not able to get a look in at the hairpin, not just yet, sort of biding his time almost, although I see Mohammed Dokrat is on the harder tire as well. Looks to be the same as Jeremy de Villiers, but we've got Emil de Villiers running away at the head of the pack right now, also on the hard tires, with Corne Breed on hard tires behind him, and Jude Stewart. It looks like, actually, Sas, what it looks like to me, as Jeremy de Villiers loses place to Raymond Duggan.
What's happening there?
So Raymond is definitely the only man I can see, as we see Marco Grasser unfortunately disconnecting. Raymond Duggan, I think, is the only man on soft tires. Everybody else going for a much harder compound to start with. Oh dear, John Stewart seems to have had a bit of a nightmare back there, spin or something. I think he's on medium tires. Ryan de Azevedo battling with Bjorn Buchner for 8th and 9th, and it looks like Ryan has currently got the better of Bjorn on the hard tire, both on the hard tire, in fact. And it does look like our closest battle in general at the moment is between Mark Hollenbach and Jude Stewart for 3rd position. And we've also got a nice little battle developing between Mohamed Dokrat and Jeremy de Villiers. So we're going to have to keep an eye on both of those as the race progresses. It does seem to be possible to follow through the twisty sections of this track when you're in the sort of slipstream of somebody else, but and certainly definitely DRS coming into play as well. But yeah, you definitely lose a bit as the driver behind, but not as much as you would usually expect from a car of this nature. So that's fantastic. It should allow us to have good battles up and down the grid as the race progresses. I do see Corne Briet has stabilized that gap to Emil. So Emil really scampered away at the beginning of the race and pulled out a second almost immediately. But that gap has actually stabilized a little bit. And Corne Briet, though, making a mistake. It's suddenly 3.8 seconds. So a mistake from Corne, and that's allowed Jude to catch up a little bit. You can see the times there: 35.2 for Emil, 36.7 for Corne. So Emil really laying down the hammer right now. And it is good to see Mikhail Matthews, who's in 12th position right now, who had a problem for some reason, disconnected before he was able to rejoin. The race had started, so it looks to be he's 1 lap down, which is a shame, but he's certainly giving it everything. Well, can he keep an eye on his lap times? You never know. Might be able to make it up in the hour that we are racing. Jeremy de Villiers has lost a position to Mohamed Dokrat now. I suspect, given how quickly that happened, there was a mistake. So these drivers definitely making a few errors here and there. So certainly to start with at the beginning of this race, in the first 10 minutes or so, we're seeing a few errors creeping in. But that just means there are opportunities out there for these drivers. You keep pushing, you keep pressurizing the guy in front of you. It might be a second down the road. You might be thinking, wow, that's not that's quite a big gap. Well, keep pushing, because the guy in front of you is certainly starting to feel the pressure. Okay, so we've got Raymond Duggan trying to chase down Mark, and what we're going to have to really pay attention to is Raymond being the only guy on the soft tires. So really, he should be making these tires count right now. He is closing up on Mark, certainly in the braking zones, but I think he's possibly pushing the car a little bit too hard. And instead of carrying the speed through the corner, he does look to be just over braking slightly, and that's resulting in both of their lap times being almost identical. And really should be trying to lean on those soft tires through the corners, and maybe not wearing them out as much in the braking zone. So the gap now is about a second between the two.
Okay, just a quick update. I've sorted out the sound. I'll bump it and match it just now. Fantastic. Loads of action all up and down the field.
Yeah, I mean, so Mikhail, who was our pole sitter, his last lap was a 35.8, which is an extremely good lap time, and he's currently 0.5 of a second up on that. So he's really finding his flow, finding his rhythm. Good to see him not giving up and tackling this course. I'm going to keep an eye on his lap times versus Emil de Villiers. I think that ship has kind of sailed unless Emil really has problems in this race in terms of catching him up. But it would just be interesting to see what that sort of pace would have been like. Oh, Jude Stewart, real big problems there, and losing 2 positions to Mark and Raymond. And now Raymond Duggan and Mark Hollenbach going into the final complex, I should say, side by side, fantastic racing, and Raymond having the inside line, making good use of those soft tires, and pulling away now from Mark, and Jude Stewart coming back after his mistake, looking to try and rectify that. Mikhail having done a 35.2 as his last lap, Emil a 35.1, so really very, very quick times from our friend. Matthews.
And if one thing doesn't change, I lose my TV tower.
Oh dear, it's it's one thing or another, hey Sass, but we've got Jude Stewart all over the back of Mark Hollenbach right now. Jude going for the outside line and then looking for the cutback. Wow, that was close. That was so close. His front wing almost touching Mark's rear tire multiple times then. That is impressively close racing.
I must say, young Jude has come a long way.
A long way. Hey, he's doing exceptionally well now.
Oh, he's right on the tail there.
Oh, and a big slide, big slide.
And I'll probably have to take that one as a bit of commentator's curse. But he's definitely come a really, really good long way, and he's
got the pace though. He's got the pace.
I think he's been working really hard at getting that consistency down. Just making sure that he's doing his best to bring the Flying Gypsies, try and bring them forward, try and just maybe catch up there with Corné Breed and Raymond Duggan as well. He's got some big boots to fill if you look at that team.
Yeah, definitely. It has given Mark a little bit of breathing room to now start pressuring Raymond Duggan. But Jude's got the pace. He will catch back up to Mark. Of that, I've got no doubts. Right, the pit window is open, Sus.
I was just about to say that. So you've already mentioned like the tire distribution there. It's interesting to me that Raymond Duggan is on the C4, so maybe he's thinking splash and dash instead of taking tires. Although this is an F1.
Sorry, C4 is the soft,
it's the soft,
not the hard.
Oh, C4 the soft. Okay, so it's the other way around.
You wouldn't be flashing dash. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but and that kind of makes sense. These are F1 cars. They're not made to refuel very quickly. I haven't really looked at how long they take to refuel.
Such a bizarre thing to me, Seth.
What?
Having grown up watching, starting to watch Formula One in the late 90s and early 2000s, like to me, a Formula One car is still something that should be filled up with fuel extremely quickly. But I know that's not the case anymore, of course. Oh, Jude Stewart's really just pushing too hard at the moment.
Yeah, no, he's going to have to pull back that composure a bit, find his space.
Very close to the back of Raymond now. I think he was maybe a bit too aggressive through that last turn. And not pulling in on the slipstream of Raymond Duggan there, taking a wider line. I've actually seen drivers very much split down the middle in terms of the lines that they take over the start-finish line. Some hugging all the way to the right, some drifting over to the left, and then cutting back. It's very interesting. I'm not sure why that is exactly which is the best either. I genuinely don't know, but very interesting to see, and to see how it plays out as well.
Definitely.
You see the slipstream starting to work a little bit there for Mark, and
it feels like such a Tilke track, to be honest.
Yeah, he should be in the DRS zone though, and I know it's very, very short, but he'll gain about a 10th back on Raymond, I would imagine. Not too many overtaking opportunities, I would say, Sus. You've really got to line yourself up quite nicely here.
I mean, I think this looks like a track that is a lot of fun to drive, and the elevation change is making for some really, really interesting driving. I'm not sure how blind some of these corners are, but it takes a lot of commitment to get through. Ooh, and Mark gains a bunch there. Yeah, just not quite enough.
Ooh, and a lockup from Raymond has allowed Mark to really gain onto the back of Mr. Duggan there.
This section has very much a Kota feel to it. There's a corner on Kota that where you've got that double. I think that's that double right-hander with the sudden left-hander. Oh, it's such a weird sequence to go through, and I think that's kind of catching people out when following closely. You're focusing a lot on trying to find that optimal line, but then you have to stay away from running into the rear of the car in front. It looks like a fun track to drive, but a tough one to pass on.
Definitely. I mean, you can tell that Raymond's soft tires are not going off, hey, Sus, because through the really slow, twisty stuff, he definitely pulls out a gap on Mark. And in general, I would say he's starting to pull away by about 0.2 a lap.
Raymond's last lap was somewhat early in the stint.
Yes, yeah, no, definitely. But I would have thought these soft C4 tires would already be giving up the ghost at this stage. A 36.3 for Raymond and a 36.2 actually for Mark. So Mark was quicker by 1/10 last time around. But it is definitely tit for tat. So the end section of this track, Raymond really seems to have Mark beat, but the first sector of the lap, it seems to be the other way around. So you see that the gap got down to 0.6 of a second there, but we'll see now if Raymond opens up the gap. The lap time's almost identical, 36.103 and 36.175. That is really close.
Just quickly hopping back to Michael Matthews. He's currently, his best lap time is a 34.5.
Goodness, that's quick.
And I did see that Corné Breed just set fastest lap of the race with a 34.1. And he's also right on that bubble, so probably going to be seeing some improvement there very soon. It is unfortunate. I don't think Michael has any way of getting back close enough. He is basically a lap down.
Yeah, it is very, very unfortunate. So we are at 94% grip so far, so we're not even at 100% yet. So we will see these guys get quicker over the stint. So that's something interesting, is while your tires are going to be going off, the track is going to be improving. So what that ends up looking like will be very interesting. This is the closest now we've seen Mark in a while, getting that gap down to 0.4. Good drive off the corner there. Both will get DRS. Remember, Assetto Corsa does not have the DRS detection apart from the zone itself. Like there's no ability for them to for the game to say you have to be within a second or anything like that. So both drivers will get DRS, but Mark doing very, very well to close the gap now on Raymond. Raymond will be slower this lap, 36.6, 36.4. So yeah, definitely a nice little battle lap.
That might now be Raymond's tires starting to go off.
That's true. That's definitely true.
An interesting tidbit. I just had a quick look at the suspension on Mark's car as he was flying down the straight, and I remembered something that the RSS developers said, is that in these cars it is actually possible to mimic the porpoising effect. So if you go a little bit too low, if you find that right window of setup, you might actually end up suffering from porpoising as well. I can only imagine how horrible that might be in VR.
Yeah, guaranteed to blow chunks over that one. Very close now to Raymond. You can see the slipstream is starting to affect through the fast stuff, and I think that's what's keeping Raymond a little bit safer. Oh, very sideways. Here's an opportunity. Very sideways was Raymond Duggan, and he's not opened his DRS. He opens his DRS late as well. This should be a pass. This should be one and done.
That pressure of having someone breathe down your neck.
Yeah, it's just that mistake flustered him slightly and then made him forget to open his DRS. Going to try for a cutback here is Raymond, but I think he's going to have no answer to Mark, who takes that provisional podium position. And now we've got Jude Stewart, who's got back into the rhythm of things. He's going to be closing down Raymond now as well. Although Raymond is in the slipstream of Mark now, so it's a bit of a tit-for-tat situation. Now Mark gets to... Ooh, that's a lock-up almost from Raymond. Very brave on the brakes there, but he's kind of compromised himself for the exit. And that allows Mark to really scamper away. But it does bring Jude into play, so...
Very
Raymond
quickly hopping
will
to P1. Emil has just lapped Mr. Michael Matthews.
Yes.
So Emil is opening up that gap between himself and Cornet Breed. Cornet just coming across the hill there.
33.7 was Emil's last lap, and the 34.0 was Cornet's. So, yeah, going very, very quickly is Emil. Kind of in the class of their own, Cornet and Emil. Certainly at this stage. Oh, Jude Stewart making a move on Raymond. Raymond kind of making a bit of a mistake. Exactly the same place we saw last lap. I think those soft tires are really giving him a headache right now.
Big lock up from Emil though. Oh, sorry, Jude though.
Yes. Jude's really pushing these tires hard. He must be careful if he's trying to make these last an entire race. Pit window is now open for 30 minutes.
I am quite curious what Raymond's thought process was. Like, I'm waiting with bated breath to see if everybody else, when they go pit, they slap on a softer set of tires. Like maybe Raymond was thinking, let me slap on the faster tire set for the start, give myself a bit of an advantage, and then I'll switch to the harder tire set.
And some breathing room possibly.
There is no requirement to run different tire sets as well, so like it's all down to strategy. I think most people will end up settling for the same tire set on both stints.
Jeremy de Villiers is all over the back of Mohamed Dokrat right now and is looking to go around the outside hard into the braking zone of the hairpin. Dokrat keeping that inside line. And Jeremy is unable to go around the outside and once more tucks in behind Mohamed Dokrat. This battle for 6th position here, Sus, and really hotting up right now as I see Jude Stewart is starting to once again close in on Mark Hollenbach for that 3rd position. Ooh, Mohamed getting quite sideways in a Raymond Duggan kind of manner, and that's allowing...
Oh, there was contact. There was net. What's it called? I think that was a netcode contact.
And just teleports straight back to pits. From my onboard, it did not look like contact.
I actually have an instant replay. Let's see. So I catch them just as they exiting the chicane. Jeremy goes for that inside move. Ooh, I am not sure. It might have been a netcode contact, but maybe that was Jeremy just losing the car, thinking that Dokrat might be cutting across his nose. I'm not sure.
Remember, they both had their DRS open, which destabilizes the rear of the car. I was on board with Jeremy, and look, we would have to see Jeremy's replay because that would show what actually happened, but because we're just spectating, so there could be lag, there could be all sorts, but on board live when I saw it as a spectator, there was a gap, there was no contact, and it looked like just you went over a crest that you wouldn't generally do with the DRS open, and that combined with turning the wheel slightly more aggressively than you usually would over that rise caused the car to spin out. But that's just what that's what I saw.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. To me, it looked like a netcode moment, but it also might have been a destabilized rear there. And maybe that was what was Raymond's undoing, is not being that confident to go across that hill with the DRS wing wide open. I'm just quickly riding on board with Ryan de Azevedo. He seems to be closing down this gap to Mohamed Dokrat as well. So Mohamed is maybe struggling a little bit with tire grip there.
He is.
We are almost at the halfway mark, so I'm
I
expecting.
think they're on the same tires, but yes, I think
They
he
are
is
on the
struggling.
same tires, but if one of them, if Mohamed abused his tires a little bit more, and yeah, he is running quite aggressively. He's trying to use all of the tracks, so might just be loading that tire that slight bit more and asking more of it.
Heating it up or something. Or getting a very good run around Azevedo. You're not going to make a move there, I'm afraid. Not just yet. You're going to have to be a bit patient.
Does look like he's just applying that pressure, trying to make him think twice.
Yeah. I want to see what happens when they go up and over this crest. So you'll see if, unless there's a move being made, that the guys go wide over the crest and they don't keep tight, which is what happened with Jeremy and where he ended up spinning.
So Emile de Villiers did just set his fastest lap.
As they go over the crest here, see how they sort of drift out to the left there, and rather than keeping a very tight line. And I wonder if that is partly because keeping a tighter line just destabilizes the car while you've got DRS open. Right, so Ryan de Azevedo, 0.4 of a second separating himself and Mohamed.
Just quickly hopping forward to Jude. He is still trying to catch up with Mark Hollenbach.
What I've seen of Jude is that he does have the pace to be quicker than Mark, but he's lacking the consistency right now, and he's just pushing the car a little bit too hard, locking up brakes, things like that. As we've seen Ryan
at some point,
very close to the back
at some
of
point,
Mohamed.
Jude will have to make that decision. Does he go for the undercut a bit slightly earlier to try and put in a banger of a lap on his outlap and try and gain some time there?
It does depend on the gap behind, remember, because if he pits early, he might come out into traffic, and that could be even more detrimental. I see Cornet Breed in the pits. Sus, Cornet Breed is in the pits.
Cornet is in the pits. When did Cornet and Emile switch places?
What do you mean? He's been second the whole time?
Okay.
Emile's been first the whole time.
So Emile, I think Emile has already pitted. I don't have my window up to show how many, my timing grid to see how many people have taken their pit stops. But Emile was second on my external app for a moment there.
I didn't see that, I must be honest. Emile would have dropped down a lot further.
I don't think so. Emile is currently well ahead of Jude Stewart. Jude is only crossing the finish line now. Emile has been banking in banger after banger after banger. So that looks like... You're right. Okay, looking at Cornet now. Oh, I see what's going on here. It's that pit entry.
So Jude Stewart's all over the back of Mark Hollenbach right now. All over the back of him.
It's the pit entry. You hop ahead of the driver in front for a moment there when you enter the pits, and I think that's what confused me.
Okay, so Jude Stewart and Ryan de Azevedo are having big battles right now. I'm with Jude Stewart. He's trying to go around the outside of the third. That's squeezing him very tight. That is
wheel racing.
That is brave.
Beautiful overtake by Jude there.
We need to see a replay of that, because that must have been a wheel between a side pod kind of thing. That was close. And what's even better is Mark. Oh, Mark spins. Mark spun.
I'm quickly playing the replay there. That was really tight. You're right. Wheel right up against the side pod there.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, Mark's spinning and he's down to fourth now. Raymond Duggan once again taking that position back. Ryan de Azevedo, after being on the rear wing of Mohamed Dokrat, really has dropped off at the end of this lap. He's now over a second and a half back, so he must have made a bit of a mistake. Almost halfway into this race now, with 22 minutes left on the pit window. One person that we know of has pitted Corne Briet, and you see what I was talking about, Sus, in terms of the undercut.
Yes.
He's now come back out into 7th position. And he is 54 seconds behind Ryan Azevedo, so he does have a nice clean gap here.
But okay, I wasn't paying attention. What has his lap times been? So his last lap time
was a 3:11, so that was his pit. So he's going to come.
This is out lap.
Yeah, this is effectively his first lap.
Okay, he is 10 seconds from finishing this lap. And I think we do have to keep in mind the car is going to be heavier again.
He's only 3/10 slower than his best. So 1:34.0.
1:34.0.
Emil's in the pits. Emil's in the pits. His last lap was a 33.9. Emil's out the pits. So I don't think the undercut will have worked that well. Emil's in and out.
Ooh,
Emil must have splashed and dashed, and Corne must have taken tires. Because there's no way Emil can come out in first.
No.
Corne's come out in 7th. So Corne must have taken tires, fuel the whole shooting match, and Emil must have done a sort of a 1 liter splash and dash.
Okay. Before I speculate, I'm gonna go to YouTube chat quickly. There's a few people there. Martin Grunewald, Fridge Findlay, and Mr. Tarmac Hunter, or rather, as we know him, Mr. Gascoigne.
Sorry. Ryan Azevedo on Mohammed Dokrat, trying to make a move here. He's tried there before, and it hasn't worked out. Mohammed running very wide through that right-hander, and that's going to allow Ryan to really close back up. But you can see how much he struggles following Mohammed. Definitely not at full pace here, but is going to get on the back wing, go up the inside, leave space. There's going to be contact. There's a little bit of contact.
A little bit of contact, but I think that's going to be...
more contact.
Come on, gents. You're going to have to race a little cleaner there. We'll have to see what the post-race...
Corne Briet's just set the fastest lap of the race to 33 dead, so he must have taken new tires and some fuel, and is now going very quickly.
Right. So a little bit of speculation on my end. These are Formula One cars. Why would taking tires lead to such a time as such a long pit stop?
I think fuel leads to such a long pit stop, not tires.
Okay, so that's why I was kind of speculating, and suddenly I have a timing grid again.
Mark Hollenbach in the pits. He's going to lose out to Dokrat and Azevedo, who have yet to pit. Given that they're battling, both doing almost identical lap times, unsurprisingly.
Okay, so Mark Hollenbach was stationary for 6 seconds there.
Yeah, so he must have taken a little bit of fuel.
That must have been fuel. So, Mr. Gascoigne, you're gonna have to help here. Changing tires is about the same time as taking 43 liters of fuel. So they're not the same in AC as in real life, though. But it still doesn't explain why Corne has lost out so much. Like, that's 20 seconds he's adrift of Emil. Did he spin? Was he repairing damage?
No, he's way more than 20 seconds adrift of Emil.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I thought this was a gap
20
to
seconds
leader.
adrift of Raymond Duggan. That's bizarre. Emil now doing the fastest lap, so he must have taken new tires as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a no-brainer to take new tires if 43 liters is about the same amount.
Ryan getting a good run on Mohammed now. Ryan should get a good run on Mohammed here.
All right, let's see. It is at that very, very scary kink atop the hill. Ryan is on the outside.
When you went over that crest there was a bump as well. It could have been a combination of he's dived into the pits.
Dokrat dove into the pits.
Now, if I remember correctly from GP, Ryan likes a long stint. I would not be surprised to see Ryan going all the way to the end of this pit window.
Okay, so So Gas is speculating that Emil actually didn't take tires. It still doesn't explain the absolute gargantuan gap between him and Cornet, though.
God, there's something odd there, hey, Sus. It's almost like he's done 2 pit stops and we missed one.
Yes. I'm wondering, like I'm a little worried that there might have been a glitch that didn't count a lap, but he is still on the same lap, so it's not that.
Yeah. No, it's not that. Is your timing app now up and running? Does it say anything about number of pit stops?
Everybody has done one.
Okay.
Everyone.
We haven't. So Ryan Azevedo's done one.
Actually, I am not sure what the little one then means.
Because I'm pretty sure he hasn't done a pit stop. As I say that, he dives into the pits.
So he's quickly pitting there. That's going to allow Jude. And let's see. Mark Hollenbach is on the main straight now.
Very quick pit stop. Oh, has he missed his box? Hang on.
Ryan is still stuck in pits.
I think he missed his box twice.
Oh no!
He didn't have to go backwards. He just had to go forward properly into the box. Ooh, careful.
Right. Just a note: Mikael Matthews is on the tail of Bjorn Buchner.
Hang on, Sus. I remember this. You asked me Corne Breed's lap time.
Yes.
How quick he was going after he'd pitted. And I said
was
his
3
lap
minutes.
was at 3 minutes 11. Ryan had a bit of a disaster of a pit stop there and was a 2:05. So maybe what happened is Corne had a massive incident on his in lap.
Maybe.
Spun out and we missed it. It's got to be that.
What was still
Spun out, a bit of damage.
something that's still bugging my mind though is that my camera app, my external camera app, was listing Corne as P1 when he entered the pits. So he must have actually, if his outlap was horrendous, he must have had an issue on his outlap.
Ah, yes. Okay, that makes more sense.
Because we saw outlap was around, you mentioned outlap was around about 2 minutes 10 seconds, not 3 minutes 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Corne, it sounds like Corne had a situation with a back marker. That's unfortunate.
It's a real shame. Because now he is battling back. You know, his lap times are quick, so he's doing 33.4s. Ryan is just exited the pits, so a bit difficult to say. But there's only 5 seconds, but it's 36.5 now. So, you know, Corne could be gaining about 2 seconds a lap. Fastest lap there, 32.666 from Corne. That is incredible. Track grip is now at 99%. I mean, Raymond Duggan's doing 34.1s. Raymond's now on the medium tire, Sus, so he's gone from the soft tire to the medium. That's very interesting.
He's not the only driver though. Ryan Azevedo is on the medium tire. Mikael Matthews is on the medium tire. John Stewart is on the medium tire.
Raymond Duggan all over the back of Mohammed Dokrat, drives down the inside of the chicane. Be careful here, lads. And he's going to get a horrible exit now, is Raymond. Mohammed Dokrat, I don't know if he's pitted yet. But he's on the hard tire.
He has pitted. He has pitted.
Oh, he has. Okay. So he's pitted, but he's on the hard tire, possibly still on the hard tire.
Judging by the gap to Ryan. Remember, Ryan Azevedo and Mohammed Dokrat was very close to one another as
Yes.
the pits, as Muhammad went to pit.
I think Mohammed didn't take tires.
I suspect he didn't take tires, maybe just a splash and dash there.
And now this is why he's a bit of a sitting duck here for Raymond. Raymond's just got to pick his spot cleverly here, because he's going to get much better traction off the corners.
I just had to hold my breath a lot there.
Now, that was going to be very brave to overtake there. So now with these fresh tires, look how much quicker. Oh no!
Oh, that was an open DRS wing.
Oh. Oh, and now you're in the middle of the track.
Oh. Hopefully people can realize, like, if there's quite chaos, don't open your DRS wing.
Yeah, he's now cooked his tires as well. That's a big shame. That's a shame.
Oh, that's a crying shame. Right, I'm gonna just quickly hop to Ryan de Azevedo. His last lap time was a 33 dead. He's on track to do a 32.7, compared to Muhammad, whose last lap time was a 36.4. There's 20 minutes left in this race. Plenty of time for Ryan to catch up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Cornet Briet behind. I think Ryan is getting such a move on. His Cornet is doing 32.7s. So, you know, he knows that he's got to make a move now. Otherwise, so 32.759 for Ryan and a 33.8 for Cornet. So a bit of a scrappy end to the lap was there from Cornet. Is Ryan on the hards? No, he's on the mediums. So Ryan's on the mediums and Cornet's on the hards. So Cornet doing extremely good lap times on the hard tires there. And if Ryan struggles to get past Muhammad, that's going to back Cornet into, or sorry, back Ryan into Cornet.
Into Cornet's path.
32.0 fastest lap from Mikhail, just showing how much pace he had. He's got 1 second to catching Bjorn Buchner.
Just gonna hop back to that.
Bjorn is 1 minute 19 behind John Stewart.
Bjorn seems to be struggling through these S-Bends.
Kane might just be on old tires, Sus.
Might be. Matthews is on the medium, so he definitely switched. And look at that pace difference. Just breezes past him.
See, that's what I thought Raymond was going to do, is just bide his time a little bit and not try and blast past before the corner.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mikhail worked his way up now to 9th, which is pretty good considering he started a lap down.
He is still almost a lap down to John. There's a lot of time that he'll have to catch up on. His last lap, a 32 dead. John's last lap, a 36.6. So that's a 4-second difference. There's not enough race time left to catch that.
Right, so Ryan de Azevedo now under a second to Muhammad. Mr. Docrat, I think, is going to be very much a sitting duck here. If you get this right, we're going to go around the outside.
Defensive line.
It's the cutback. Oh, good driving there from Muhammad,
just parking it in front of the apex there.
Yeah, very well done. Although by the time we get to the infamous up and over, I think, you're just going to blast right around the outside and have the inside line for the chicane. You will have the outside.
That's a little bit of a hip tap to pass.
Yeah. He's slowing down.
Slowing down.
He's waiting for him. No, gone.
Is he?
He's gone now. He did wait a little bit. Cornet Briet then sails past, and this is what I was saying. If something happens between Docrat and Azevedo, it's going to bring
big lockup.
So Cornet now in play. Cornet on the hard tires though.
Do want to quickly hop to Mr. Hollenbach in P3. Who is 10 seconds ahead of Ryan de Azevedo.
Ooh, a disconnection.
Who was
We've
that?
had both Stewarts have
Both
disconnected.
Stewarts.
I think that's because they're both coming from the same household, so they must
Yes.
have had either load shedding or an internet outage. That is unfortunate.
That's not ideal. Right, but that will mean it's going to promote Hollenbach into P2, Ryan Azevedo into P3, and Cornet, who is on the back of Ryan here, he's going to be trying to gun for that like final position on the podium.
Yep, definitely.
Oh, that's such a painful thing to see, both Stewarts disconnecting at once.
Yes, that's the problem coming from one location.
Yeah,
both go.
I'm almost tempted to say it's like it's almost an argument to consider having two slower internet lines so that you have the backup there. Ryan Azevedo locking up his tires ever so slightly, so he is under a ton of pressure from Cornet there.
He has been doing that quite a lot, I must say.
He is on the softer tire, so it doesn't even really make sense why. Like it's not as if it would leave him with
pushing too hard. I think he's just pushing too hard, braking slightly later than he needs to, and rather than just sort of coasting. I don't want to use the word coasting because these guys aren't coasting, but rather than coasting through the corner, really trying to push to the absolute max, and then you just lock up a little bit, and then it's a compounding problem. So Hollenbach is doing 35s, but he's 1 minute and 14 seconds ahead of these chaps. So, yeah, he can do that quite comfortably for the next 15 minutes and still be okay.
Yeah, he just has to cruise it home. But like, look at Emil.
Sorry, I'm getting it wrong. 1 minute 14 to Emil. Yeah.
1 minute 14. That is an immense gap.
Yeah,
Emil has had that car on rails basically tonight, it seems to me.
What's interesting is Ryan has had a very good Cornet race pace, but his qualifying didn't have him in that top section, the top echelon to be competing with these guys.
Again, let's look at the track grip though. We are on an optimum track now.
Yes, now, but I mean, okay, I know Ryan's on a medium tire, but I mean, his lap time's not that far off Cornet.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. I think with the inconsistency that comes with a less grippy track.
Okay.
That's where inconsistency is where your aliens shine. They are able to nail it corner after corner, lap after lap, to a point that would make an F1 driver look like that. It would make them look inconsistent. They're just on a next level, and it's what I've found in my little bit of sim racing that I've been doing. You're really battling as hard as you can to keep that level of consistency up.
Cornet goes for it down the inside. Ryan very wise to that move though, and both drivers making their braking points, neither locking up, neither making a big mistake and clattering into the other. Very good to see, but it has dropped Cornet back.
Yeah, ultimately, I think half of the battle is consistency, and if you can't get that consistency down, especially in a time-sensitive environment like qualifying. Ooh, Cornet almost.
That's a missed braking point if I've ever seen one. Goodness me.
I'm gonna have to go for a change of pants now.
Okay, so Ryan's taking about 2 seconds out of Mark every lap.
Should be
the gap is
around
now
about
4 seconds. So you know, once we get to about 8 minutes to go, I think Ryan is going to be on the back of Mark, which will allow Cornet to catch back up. So
there's about 8 laps left. What's the pace difference?
About 2 seconds a lap.
About 2 seconds. So 8 laps. Okay, yeah.
16 seconds, yeah. it's on the cards for both of these chaps to end up on the podium, and Mark is going to be struggling a little bit to maintain it. But
that's going to be a lot of pressure. He has driven beautifully under. Oh no, wait, was that Mohammed that was parking it in front of?
It was Mohammed, yeah. But Mark has had a good race. Like there's no doubt about it. He's played an interesting strategy call. And you can just see Mark there in the distance. These guys now have got their target in sight. 3 seconds now the gap between Ryan and Mark, with Cornet 1.8 behind that. So I think Mark is going to be defending hammer and tongs here because he knows what's at stake.
This one's going to come down to, well, not necessarily the line, but I think as soon as Ryan arrives on the back of Mark, that's going to back them both into the clutches of Courtney, exactly. And it's going to be a three-way battle for the last two spots on the podium.
And Mark really wants Cornet to then be brought into play.
Yes.
That benefits Mark, because he now has Ryan having to worry about Cornet, because Cornet is now thinking, right, I can have both of these guys. Racing drivers are
they're a fickle bunch.
No, they're greedy. That's what they are. So it's not line up one at a time here, chaps. Like if racing drivers are intelligent humans, they would be thinking, right, okay. Speaking as a racing driver, they'd be intelligent humans, and they'd say, okay, Ryan, I'll let you get past, and then I'll get past, and we'll both get a position. We both win here. No. Cornet is going to be thinking, right, how can I have both these guys? I'm greedy. I want both places, please.
But that is also now raising the question: what level is there in terms of team orders within the Flying Gypsies?
Ooh, that is a good question. That is a good question.
I'm quickly trying to pull up the season results for the GP series. The standings.
Ryan's not exactly letting him through, is he? Oh, he's got back to pits. Cornet teleported.
Did he accidentally bump the button to go back to pits?
Oh no, Cornet.
No,
man.
No.
Mark Hollenbach is breathing a massive sigh of relief from a podium point of view now. Now can he defend against Ryan de Azevedo?
So Cornet is ahead in the championship compared to Ryan.
I think you mean was ahead after this race.
No, there's a 30-point gap between them, so Cornet has to really do badly in order to drop.
Okay, so Ryan's really on the back now. He's on medium tires. I think Mark's on pretty knackered old hards. Into the braking zone. Don't lock up. Well done.
Beautiful overtake maneuver there.
Adjusted.
I was worried that he wasn't going to be able to slow it down enough.
Me too.
Because he did run very, very tight into that corner.
Yep. Are we going to see Cornet coming out the pits because his controls would have been locked?
It wouldn't. There's that shortcut that jumps you to pits, and basically it starts a pit stop immediately.
Ah, okay.
Although, now I'm also... Wait a minute. Was that around the 10-minute mark?
It was, yeah. But Cornet pitted.
I know... Oh, that might have been a weird DQ.
What, they thought he hadn't pitted or something?
Yes.
That's fair. That would be very strange. How come no one else has been affected then? We're gonna have to get some info.
Okay, right. Okay, Cornet just jumped into the chat there, so it's because he had to tow to pit.
Yeah, he would have been. His controls would have been locked, I would imagine.
Well, yeah, he had to tow to pit, and that then didn't count as a pit stop.
Oh, right. Okay. So he did have a massive incident. Knacker the car, tow to pits, then go out. And it doesn't count that as a pit stop. Wow. Okay. That's something we'll have to bear in mind for the future, Sus.
Yes, that is. Ooh, especially on a tough track like this, you have to think about it and be really careful about what you're doing. Right, so Ryan Azevedo is going to be taking P2. I'm just going to bump ahead to Emil, who's been having a very, very lonely race. And I must apologize for the little bit of stuttering. I think I've solved it. Looks like my replay buffer was acting up. But Emil's been having somewhat of a lonely race. He's a minute ahead of Ryan de Azevedo. Mark Hollenbach is comfortably in P3 there. Ooh, there was a switch. Why is there a switch? Ryan de Azevedo back into the pits. He ran out of fuel. That must have been the case.
Because he's out now. He's come out now.
Mohammed Dokrat
drama
is just across the... Oh no.
Azevedo is now showing on my timing tires being behind Dokrat.
Yes, I just jumped to Dokrat, thought he had just crossed the finish line, but no, he's well ahead. 5 minutes to go. Raymond Duggan also passes Ryan de Azevedo. Oh, that's unfortunate. Not sure what exactly happened there.
That is incredible. Wow. Did not expect that to happen. Jeez, like. Okay, so Ryan now in 5th. There's only 5 minutes left, Sus. He's surely not going to have time to chase down and get back on the podium.
I mean, if anything...
He's into Duggan like at an insane rate of knots, though.
Yes.
It's after Duggan that's going to be the interesting one.
Yes.
Driving like a man possessed right now.
But no, there's not enough time for him to catch Dokrat though. So Ryan can only try and pass Duggan at this moment.
Yeah, barring mistakes.
Barring any mistakes, but I'm a commentator. I'm not trying to purposefully curse anybody here.
But so if Hollenbach and Dokrat get onto the podium, that'll be a phenomenal result for them.
Yes, I mean they're relatively unknown within SimRace SA. I think this is their first season with us. This is a superb drive for them tonight. I know that the grid is maybe not as stacked as we normally. Ooh, Ryan de Azevedo cruising past Raymond.
Spinning.
Big lockup. Oh no. The two flying gypsies there.
All being going on tonight.
I wonder if that was maybe a little bit of a miscommunication on Raymond letting Ryan de Azevedo pass there.
Yeah, possibly. He's got 13 seconds to now make up on.
3 minutes to go. I don't think there's going to be enough time.
Seems unlikely. So let's be kind and say there are 3 laps left. You're gonna have to be gaining 4 seconds a lap at least,
which isn't what I've been seeing. So,
So 36.0 is what Dokrat is doing. So Ryan's going to be having to do 32s to gain.
32 dead. If there's 3 laps left, that might still be a possibility. I'm just going to jump ahead to Emil. He is currently almost halfway through his current lap. So there should be 3 more laps. Ooh, this might come down to the line.
I don't know, Sass. I think I don't think that Ryan's got that kind of pace in him. He's 4/10 already off his personal best.
To talk to maybe that bit of consistency that we were talking about earlier with his qualifying. That's if 6/10, yeah, I think he's realizing, like, just bring it home, don't try and overdo it.
I don't think he's riding those curves like he's pushing the car. I think his personal best is just that quick, that you're just at the stage with the tires where they are unable to.
Maybe.
So we'll see what lap times they both do, but there's just no ways. There's an 11-second gap currently.
Right, Emil has just started another lap. There was a minute 38 left on the clock. Actually, so 2 more laps after this one.
Yeah, Ryan's pushing. He's sliding the car all over the place.
No, I'm wrong. 1 more lap after this one. Ooh, Emil's sliding that car around a little bit.
He's got 1 minute and 20 seconds to recover from a spin if he wants.
I mean, if he really wants to,
Emil tonight, right?
Definitely. If he really wants to, he can theoretically just go park it in front of the line, wait for the time to run out, and then cross.
You know, he's up on his delta right now.
I know.
What is effectively the last lap of the race?
Well, it's going to be his second last lap. It's going to be his second last lap.
You reckon he's going to get over the line in 40 seconds?
He crossed the finish line with 1 minute 38 on the clock.
No, not if he does that.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, all he has to do is go park it in front of the line, wait for the timer to run out, and then he'll be there. Who's going so slowly there? That's not Raymond Duggan. Don't know.
Like he wants another lap.
Yeah, and he crosses for the final lap.
Now let's see if he's going to set the fastest lap of the race. Oh, doesn't get a good exit out of turn 1. Deploying all of his battery and DRS to make up that small mistake. Ooh, yeah, he's pushing hard. He's pushing hard.
He is pushing hard.
Too hard. He's pushing too hard. There's not.
That's the risk here.
The tires just don't have the life, I think.
Yeah, that's the risk here. I think, especially with those DRS zones that are a little weird. If you're gonna be doing this and you cross that hill, oh, that's a very wide entry into this corner.
He's been doing it the whole night. It's
sensible. It's sensible. I've just not seen any of the other drivers really take that line.
I think the advantage is it allows him to get on the power so much earlier and so much harder. Yeah, very sensible out that corner.
He opens up the DRS just before he's cresting there. That's brave. Yeah. I remember being terrified of DRS in corners. Ooh. In corners where you can, like, really go and lose the rear.
Riding the car to the line.
Right, he crosses to take a well-deserved finish there.
Great victory there from Emil. Masterclass on note.
Mark Hollenbach will have 1 more lap. Mohamed Dokrat is coming to cross the finish line. He's going to finish 1 lap down on Emil. So Emil effectively lapping almost the entire field except Mark.
Yep.
Ryan de Azevedo
running out of time.
P4, just not enough time.
Yeah, Raymond Duggan will come home in a pretty respectable 5th. And what was best about Raymond is he took a very contra strategy, which was awesome to see.
Yes.
That was brilliant to see. Carl Matthews ended up 6th, sus, with all the weird retirements and pits.
There was a lot that happened here tonight.
Yep. Shows you why, even if you have something happen to you at the beginning of the race, just sticking with it, you'll gain some positions.
Right. Just gonna wait for Our P2 driver, actually, who's still out there? It looks
Bjorn
like
Buchner is also out there. He's about to come across the start-finish line himself. Lots of understeer in that car. Got a 7th for Bjorn. And now we wait for Mark Hollenbach, who's probably can't believe that he's managed to get this car home in second, given how quickly the guys were chasing him down. But it is a well-deserved second place, I would say. Mohammed Dokrat as well, an incredible third position. Well done, gents. Well done.
yes. That was an absolutely superb race. I'm just quickly sorting out people to join. Who wants to join? How do I accept this? Okay. I'm gonna head to our commentator view.
Lee.
And I see Mr. Emil and Mark Hollenbach. Right. Hello, gentlemen.
And congratulations, Emil. What a fantastic victory. And maybe a slightly lonely one tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty lonesome up there, but it was a pretty flawless race for me. Had absolutely no complaints, and it was mostly just autopilot for the race. Still a big shame from Matthews at the start there, otherwise it would have been a completely different race since he had phenomenal pace, but he recovered very well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he ended up, what was it? So it's like 6th or 7th, somewhere around there. So yeah, great recovery from him. You would have had a good dice, but I mean, Cornet was keeping you reasonably honest, certainly at the beginning of the race before he had his unfortunate pit stop errors. But how did you find the track, Emil?
The track was very flowing. It was very easy to, first it was easy to learn the track, and then also quite hard to get that extra little tens from. But honestly, it was a really great track. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Fantastic, that's awesome. And Mark, welcome. First, if I'm not mistaken, first podium at Sim Race SA. Phenomenal to have you here, man.
Yeah, thanks. That is true. This is my first time on the podium, and yeah, thanks for having me. This has been quite a great journey for me, riding with the guys, and really, this is a respectable people that I am riding with. I just love it. This is fun.
That's really fantastic to hear, Mark. But I mean, how did you feel with Cornet and Ryan de Azevedo closing in on the back of you at the end there? How are you keeping your cool, keeping your composure?
Yeah, I knew the guys had a lot of pace, so the only thing for me to do was just keep it consistent, keep it on the track, and as little mistakes as I can do. That's all I can hope for. So,
well, look,
yeah.
I mean, look how that paid off. I mean, it's a second place. That's phenomenal stuff, man. Really, really well done. I hope you're proud of yourself because you genuinely deserve it.
Yeah, I must thank my teammate Muhammad. He's actually the guy that pushed me to really push myself. So Muhammad, thumbs up for you, brah. You really pushed me far.
That's awesome.
Speak of the devil, he's just managed to join.
Okay,
Muhammad,
easy.
third place. How are you feeling, my friend? I'm struggling to hear him.
I think the... Oh no.
Hello.
There we go.
There we go.
How are you feeling, man? First podium as well, hey? And both teammates on the podium. How's that?
Yeah, flipping awesome. Well done to Mark. Didn't expect that, especially since I wasn't actually ever on the attack in that race. I felt I was always flipping defending, but but somehow, yeah, I defended my way into third, so that was a nice surprise. Yeah, it feels lekker, and well done to the team, eh? Hopefully more of this to come.
Oh, fantastic, man. This is a really, really awesome result for your team. I'm super, super stoked for you guys, and super stoked for you guys to be here at Sim Race SA. Really awesome to have you, and I hope this is just the beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah, same. Thanks everyone. It's really good race, exciting, nerve-wracking, especially at the end there. Raymond, nearly lost it on the last lap, but managed to hang on. So yeah, fun stuff, and hope to enjoy more. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the rest of the season brings. Yeah, any last thoughts from any of you three gentlemen?
Yeah, guys, thank you very much for the opportunity to share this experience with you guys. It's quite a great journey. So yeah, and Muhammad, there we go, the team
Yeah.
up on the podium. You said that.
Yeah,
We can do it. We did it. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Good points all for the team. So more to come, definitely.
Emil, it sounds like
well
they're
done,
coming
gents.
for you.
Yeah, exactly. Well done, gents. Well done, everybody. Great racing tonight. There was a lot of chaos out there, and you guys managed to avoid it. And so often in racing, that's that's what you need to do as step one. And you guys certainly made sure that was covered 100%. So yeah, well done. And we'll see you for the next one.
Yes, definitely.
Thanks everyone. Cheers.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you,
Cheers.
everybody. Cheers.
That's great.
Right, nice one, Sus. That's us,
Ooh.
eh?
That's a wrap. Well, not quite. Next week it is where we return to the Sim Cup series in that lovely Porsche. I'm just trying to find the list of tracks for the season. So next week will be Donington. Ooh, I think that's gonna be an interesting one. British weather and all. I'm sure people are prepping for a bit of a wet race.
I'm sure.
I'll be back in the booth for that one. I'm really excited to be it's the last two Sim Cup races have been absolutely amazing. I'm really excited for this next round. But also, there's still time for some people to sign up. You can head over to www.simracesa.co.za. You'll find our Discord details there, our rules and regulations, and most of the important info and bits and bobs that you need. So you can go get on there. We do races every week. So next week will be Sim Cup, and then the week after we'll be back in that glorious GT3 machinery, and the week after we're back in the GP races. So it's cycling every week. It's nice and fun. Hopefully I'll get Gas in the booth with me next week. I think I need someone to bounce some ideas off of this. That can lead to quite a bit of interesting, there's already been a few interesting strategies and stuff popping out, and just seeing the level of consistency from everybody there. That Porsche is a handful to drive, eh?
Yeah, it's good fun though. Once you get in the rhythm with that car, it is brilliant to drive actually.
Yeah. But yeah, so if you're still keen on joining, you can come join us. We'll get everything sorted. But also, it's just a great our Discord space is just a great place to hang out, get some insight, people are selling and giving advice, selling gear and trading stuff. So it's just a great space for us to come and hang out as a good community. I think that's it for tonight. I'll see everybody then next week, Monday. Hopefully not hopefully, I must set up this stream a lot earlier so that people can have a link to share for everybody. Thanks to everybody in chat. It was great fun having you around. Apologies for the technical difficulties. I need to really look into what exactly was happening there. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season unfolds.
Wonderful, Sus. It's been a pleasure sharing an evening with you and really enjoyed it. Looking forward to jumping in the booth again soon.